Yo! G'day guys, how you doing? I hope you're psyched up because today I'm going to be reviewing the new Thruster D and the new boards from Smoothstar. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Leighton Lepetit and I'm a professional surf skater. Now, on my channel, I do surf skate tutorials, videos, and everything to do with surf skating. So if you're new to the surf skating community and you don't know where to begin, make sure you check out my videos because I got a range of different videos on my channel that will help you improve your surf skating skills and make you become a better surf skater. Now, I've been surf skating for about 15 years now. I started when I was like a little grown, when I was like 12 years old. I first started out on a Z-Flex because I was inspired by Lords of Dogtown, that movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it, go check it out. Favorite movie of all time. But yeah, I was just inspired by the way they started skating, and they wanted to skate how they surf. So, you know, I started on a Z-Flex trying to replicate that sort of that style of skating, like skating how you surfed. And then I come across an ad for Smoothstar in the back of a surf magazine. I looked that up and I was like, holy shit, that is epic. I need to get one. Got one for Christmas, and you know, I've been hooked ever since. They are the best thing that I've ever tried. They are a surf skating mechanism. They are used to improve your surfing. They are a surf training tool, and that's why I love them so much, because I've tried a bunch of other different surf skates, different boards, different adapters, and nothing quite has come close to the smoothness, the drive, the release that you get from Smoothstar in their thruster system. So, you know, in my opinion, I think they are by far the best surf skates on the market, like night and day compared to any other brand that I've skated. So if you're in the market of getting a surf skate, make sure you check out Smoothstar. And with that being said, let's dive into this review. Yo! Alright, so let's start with the new Thruster D system. Now, Smoothstar hasn't changed their design since 2004. That's how good their turning mechanism is. So this is the Thruster one. That hasn't been changed since 2004. So you do the math. I can't really think right now, but you do the math. It's a couple of teen years, whatever it is. But I think they did come out with a Thruster in between a few years ago. It was called the Thruster 3, I believe, and you know, it was sort of a elongated shape, skinnier, kind of reminiscent of this one combined with this one, and you know, it was a lot tighter. It was designed for, you know, those taller guys, like sort of beginners who didn't sort of understand that real looseness of it, and for bombing hills. And I tried it out for a while, and you know, I didn't really like it. I think it just took away from that surfing feeling that you got from the Thruster one, because in my opinion, it was too tight and I didn't like it. And become accustomed to the looseness of the Thruster one, and with the Thruster one, because it's got that spring in here, you can tighten it as well. So there wasn't really any need for a tighter truck. It wasn't something that was better, and it wasn't something the same, so they stopped it. So they hadn't come out with a new design since. Fast forward until now, they've come up with the Thruster D that is actually provides the same feeling as the Thruster 1, but is actually much better in so many ways. So let's find out how they did it. Now, the first notable thing with the new Thruster D is the design. You can see that it's a lot more compact and streamlined than the Thruster 1, and they've also added colors. They've painted it. If you can see on these boards back here, they're all painted on the new boards. This Thruster is yeah, one of the prototype ones that they sent me. That's one of the benefits of, you know, being a team rider for Smoothstar. They send you all the cool shit so you can test it out, R&D it. Yeah, so I've been riding this for a while now before they released it, to make sure it was all good, that it uphold to you know, the legitimacy, the feeling of the thruster one. And you know, the first thing that I noticed too about it when I put it on my board, it was significantly lighter than the thruster one, which is something that was like a big game changer for me, because you know, I like to do those big aerial maneuvers and throw the tail and stuff. So having something that made my board lighter was just epic, because it meant I can go higher, I can throw the tail more, and you know, it just felt a lot better under my feet having that lightness. I mean, if you think about the pros and everyone who like Felipe Toledo and everyone on tour who surfs, they have the lightest glassing on their boards. I remember when I was down in Sydney shooting content for these new boards, they had a Felipe Toledo surfboard in the office, and I picked it up, and you know, his board's like 5'9". It was the lightest thing that I ever felt, because the glassing on there was just so thin, and the board just felt unreal, and like the lightness of it. So you can compare like the new thruster to, you know, the boards, the pros boards on tour. The lightness of it is just makes it feel so much better, because you feel more in control of your board because of that, you know, that extra lightness that the thruster D gives you. Now, like I said, the thrusters on the new boards are all painted. They all have this nice clean finish, and I think that just sort of makes the boards a lot more fun, elevates the appearance of the boards, and they just look a lot more streamlined, a lot cleaner with that. With those painted trucks on here, as you can see, like this one, nice blue, and it just looks so much cleaner with the painted thruster. Now, obviously, if you stack it, you know, you grind on the concrete, it's gonna scratch, but that's all right. It's just this stuff underneath. It's just that metal, aluminium, whatever this is made out of. I'm not 100% sure, but that's all right. If you scratch it, it's not the end of the world. It means you're using your board, you're using your thruster, and you're enjoying yourself, you're having fun. So don't sweat it if you stack it. It's just a bit of scratch. Scratch never hurt anybody, so it's not gonna, you know, affect the performance of the thruster in any way. Now, this thruster comes with an adjustable compression spring system, as you can see in here. So just like the old one has the same compression spring system. So that means you know, you can adjust it and tighten it to maximize or minimize the release and resistance of the board with minimal movement. So essentially what that means, when you're riding, you can engage your rail a lot more and hold that line a lot longer, and it's going to provide a much better, smoother feeling, because there's not going to be as much tension on the spring. And with this unique spring system, you're not going to lose tension over time. So if it does get looser, you can tighten it back up with the Allen key that comes provided with the boards, or you can loosen it depending on how much looser you want it. So that's the great thing about this compared to other boards. You know, you're not going to lose that tension over time. It's going to feel the same every single time, because you got that ability to adjust it. You can tighten it or loosen it to provide more resistance or more release depending on what you feel like. Now, a lot of people ask me, do I tighten my spring system? And the answer is no. When I get my boards, I just leave it as is, and then eventually over time, the more I ride it, the more you ride it, it's going to loosen over time, and I like that looseness. I've been surf skating for 15 years, like I said, and I've become accustomed to the looseness of the thruster system. So I love my boards looser. I love my thrusters looser than tighter, and when they get loose, I just leave them, and because I like that looseness feeling. So yeah, if you're sort of beginning and you're not accustomed to that looseness feeling, you can tighten it, and then it will eventually get looser over time. But my suggestion is, you know, just ride it as is, get the feeling of how it is already, and then it will get looser over time, and you become more accustomed to that looseness over time. And you know, the looser it is, the more sort of I feel surfing like it feels. But you know, if you want to go bomb hills and stuff, you know, probably a good idea to tighten it, just because like speed bubbles and everything. But yeah, I love, general consensus is I love my boards a lot looser than tighter. I hop on a normal skateboard and I'm like, what the fuck's happening? This is too tight. It sort of gets me a while. It takes me a while to get into the flow of riding a normal skateboard just because I'm so accustomed to the looseness of it. So yeah, I don't touch the spring at all because I like my boards loose, but you know, I have a bunch of quiver of boards, so I'm just like riding a different one each time. So you know, it sort of takes me a bit longer nowadays to loosen up the trucks. Now, apart from the smaller compact design compared to the first one, they've also added an extra bearing right in here under this bolt. So you got your main bearing back here, just like on the old one. So the old one, the bearing's underneath here. But with this new bearing that they've added, it's going to minimize wear and give you a much smoother feeling when surf skating. It's going to give you 15 to 20% more hold and more drive through your turns, as you have two bearings working together opposed to one. So you got this bearing here turning, and then you got the larger bearing outside here as well. So it's gonna give you that much more smoother feeling, give you more hold and more drive through your turns, as opposed to this one, because this one, the old thruster one, so you just got that one bearing there. So it's just relying on that one bearing turning around like this, while this one, you got two working in conjunction together. So it just offers a much smoother feeling and gives you that extra hold and that extra drive. So you know, you can just hold your rail that 15-20% longer and drive it. So yeah, it's just one of the benefits. And the cool thing about this too is that the bearings are changeable. So if you wear them down, which eventually will over the years, they will wear down. Also too, you got this arm support just above or under the spring here, which is a lot stronger than the one on the OG thrust, which is going to provide strength as the pressure on the spring increases. Again, adding to the longevity and the durability of this new Thruster D system, so much so that they offer a 5-year warranty on this new Thruster D. So you can see here this the arm support on the OG thruster. It's just this long sort of arm support here, while on this one, you know, it's a lot more, you can't really see it, but it's a lot more wider and compact. So it's not as long as this one, and it's not as exposed. So you know, you're not going to accidentally like hit it or whatever. It's just a much more durable design than the one on the Thruster one. Also too, one of the main things that I was concerned about with this new Thruster D when I first picked it up was this little big nose thing here. See how it comes down as opposed to this one? I was concerned that this nose is going to hit the coping or hit the concrete when I was skating and doing my like sort of big turns and throwing the tail, because I pop up onto, if you see my videos, I pop up onto the nose a lot and throw the tail like that and everything. So, and especially when I go off and do airs, I was concerned that I was going to hit the coping and come back down with that sort of pointing nose, but I found that I didn't hit it at all. Like, it didn't affect the board performance or didn't affect my performance skating at the skate park and doing the tricks that I wanted to do. So if that was a concern that you also had when first looking at this thruster, let me tell you that it doesn't affect the performance in any way at all. Yeah, like I said, obviously does point a bit further down, so you are gonna sort of hit it sometimes if you're like stacking it and stuff like. But this is the same on the old thruster too. You can see here that I've scraped this one as well. So depending on what kind of tricks you're doing and how gnarly you're going, and if you're like stacking it on your nose and stuff, you are gonna sort of crash and hit it. But like I said, it's alright, you're skating, you're having fun, that's all that matters. Now with this new compact design, they've had to change the lengths of the boards. This is because, as you can see on the OG design compared to this new one, what's the best way to do it? If I line these up here, you can sort of see how much further this part hangs down. Like the hanger here starts here, and then you got all this sort of space that comes down here, while this one, the hanger is a lot more centered over the front bolt here, and it's not as long. So as you can see here, if I line these up to where the trucks meet in the middle, this part is about 1/2 inch longer than the thruster D. So, you know, the hanger sort of sits up here and it comes down, while the hanger here where the front bolt is a lot more centered over the whole board here. You're not having that extra 1/2 inch hanging down. So if you were to put this new thruster D on the old decks here, see if I pop it here where the bolts go, you see how much higher that is now sitting up compared to the thruster down here. So if you were to put it up here, attach that onto the OG boards like this wheelbase is a lot longer now and the truck sits a lot higher up, so it means you're going to sort of nosedive a lot more and you're not going to give that same surfing feeling as with the as the wheelbase is a lot different. So so what they've done, if they're able to make the boards a lot shorter now, but the wheelbase is exactly the same. You see side by side the old 34 Toledo on top with the new condensed Toledo on the bottom. The wheelbases are exactly the same, which means the boards are now a lot lighter because you've got a smaller deck. You know, a 32.5 inch Toledo is going to feel exactly the same as a 34 inch Toledo because it's got the same wheelbase. So that's why they've had to change the length of the boards, because, you know, the wheelbase isn't going to match up with this new design because it's a lot more streamlined and compact. You don't need the longer boards now because, you know, you can still get the same wheelbase from the new thruster as this one, which means there's a lot more of a selection to choose from to suit a vast and larger range of people based on their height and weight and to suit their surfing capabilities. So if you look at the previous range, we've had about 7 boards, I think. We had the Grom board, the Flying Fish, the 33 Toledo, the 34 Toledo, the Joan DeFay, the Manta Ray, and the 39-inch Flying Fish. So that was about 7 boards in the range. But now with the new range, we've got the Barracuda one, the Flying Fish. We've got 2 Joan DeFays. We've got 2 33 Toledos at different sizes. We've got 2 Holly Toledos at different sizes. We've got 2 Connors at different sizes, and we've got a Manta Ray at the new size, and we got the 39-inch as well. So that's 10 boards as opposed to 7. So we've got 10 boards to choose from now as opposed to 7 boards in the lineup. So there's a lot larger range and selection to choose from to suit your surfing capabilities based on your height and weight, which is epic. But yeah, like I said, you can't add this new thruster onto your old Smoothstar board because, you know, if you pop it on there, the wheelbase is going to be off and it's not going to give you that same feeling as the board that you've already got. And so with the new range out, you might be thinking, do I need to upgrade my Smoothstar now? My answer is, you can never not have enough Smoothstars in your quiver. Like I said, there are a lot larger range, so, you know, you can have a bunch of different boards for different purposes. I know I like the Toledo for like skate parks and, you know, sort of doing like whippy and cool shit, while the Manta Ray I like to cruise a bit more, taking to the bowls. But now with this new lineup, you know, I got the 39-inch Dolphin Cruiser, which is, you know, if I want to go just cruise and mellow out and go check the surf. So you've got a bunch of different boards for different sort of situations. So my recommendation is, you know, if you can afford to upgrade, grab a new board, grab something different. You know, if you got the 34 Toledo already, go like the new Connor or the shorter Connor. Is something different. But yeah, if you're tossing out whether to upgrade or not, yeah, 100% if you can afford it, go and get a new board, because, you know, they're just loads of fun, and like I said, different boards for different sort of situations. Now with that being said, is there anything wrong with the board that you've got? Because Smoothstar still stocks the thruster one and the old boards, and, you know, if you want to buy one with the thruster one, is there anything wrong with the thruster one? Absolutely not. These are still fantastic. Like I said, Smoothstar hasn't changed them since 2004, and I've been skating this for 15 years. So, you know, if you're not buying the thruster D, you're not you're not improving your surfing. You're not becoming a better surf skater if you are still skating the thruster one, because I'm testament to that. Just watch my videos on my channel from where I started and where I am now, and all that progression happened on the thruster one. And so, that's how good this system is, because it does work, and it's going to be absolutely fine. This one is just a lot more compact, more streamlined, and a lot more durable than this one, but they both feel exactly the same. This one's got a bit more hold, a bit more drive, but nonetheless this one is far superior than any other surf skate on the market, in my opinion, any other system on the market. This one's just, that touch better, that touch more streamlined, and they've got cool colors and shit. So, you don't have to upgrade. So, there's nothing wrong with the thruster one. It's just as good, just as smooth. This one's just a little bit better. But in saying that, this is far better than anything else out there too. So, yeah, that's my take. Yeah, that was the review, the new Thruster D system. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that review. I know it's a bit long, but thank you for staying to the end of the video. I hope you learned something. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Yo!